Sierra and Austin Mosby. Who are they? Well, they're trucking industry experts is who they are. Elite Trade Academy. What they did was they saw a need. They saw a need, and they're trying to address that need. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. The trucking industry is short 80,000 drivers. Now, that's a record high. That's a 30% increase from the pandemic, before the pandemic, when the industry was already short drivers, 61,500, and I think those numbers are actually low. I know a number of truckers, and I've talked to them, and I know what they're up against. Let's talk to them. Sierra and Austin, good to have you coming down the road with us.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Want to get a chance to talk to you about the Elite Trade Academy, and I don't know which one wants to begin. You can just hit each other on the knee on whoever wants to speak first, but tell people what the Elite Trade Academy is.
Yes, well, Elite Trade Academy, we are a trade school, and our flagship program is CDL entry-level truck driving, and we are helping individuals obtain their CDL and obtain employment in the trucking industry.
So obviously we're short. I just mentioned that, but how long does the program take? If somebody enters into it, how long before you can turn them out and they know how to drive? They've got that CDL.
Well, here at Elite Trade Academy, our program takes about 4 weeks. The first 2 weeks will be obtaining, learning how to take the test to be able to learn the regulations and the rules of the trucking industry to get your permit. The next 2 weeks will be hands-on experience with the truck, pre-trip, post-trip, safety, how to operate, maneuver, backing, things of that such.
Okay. And you can teach all of that in that short of a time?
Yes, sir. With the regulations now, the 4 week period is about 200 hours. And yes, you can be able to learn how to be able to attain your CDLs in that time, but more extensive training will happen after you obtain your CDL.
I drive all over the upper Midwest in a 38-foot motorhome. So I know what it's like to drive a bigger rig, and I've driven semi as well, although for a farmer where you don't have to have a CDL to get that done. Right. That being said, it's not that hard if people don't get, if they're not afraid of it. At times, do you think that some of what this nation needs, which is truck drivers, are just, they're a little afraid of the big rig?
Yeah, and it can be intimidating because of the size. Just thinking about operating a tractor trailer, grossing over 80 tons or whatever the case may be, but you're in control of the vehicle. You control and operate the vehicle. So once you learn how to master that and understand that this truck won't do nothing that you won't allow it to do, it becomes a lot easier.
That's a great way of putting it. It's not going to do anything that you don't allow it to do. Do both of you have your CDL?
I do. I've been trucking for 7 years.
Which means, Sierra, you're the one that actually runs the place, is what it sounds like to me.
Yes, yeah, I'm more so the back office.
You know, Austin, I want to get a chance to let you make your pitch for those young viewers out there. And it doesn't have to be a young viewer. Some of the best truck drivers I know came into the profession late. One of the individuals I know got his CDL after he was 60 years old, which, as somebody who's that age now, or about to be that age, I do consider it old with two fake knees here. So talk to me about, you know, the people that you want to attract to the academy.
Well, like you said, people get into it late, people might get into it early, but being a truck driver takes a lot of sense of pride. I took pride driving out there on the road, being able to know that I'm servicing my country just by getting goods to the average consumer. That took a lot of pride for me. And with this industry, as an entry-level truck driver right now, you can start out making anywhere between $50,000 to $60,000 within the first year. So for people that want to get into it, that may be a little skeptical or maybe a little afraid, understand that this is a career. It's not a job, it's a lifestyle change. But with this lifestyle change comes great opportunity.
Well, let's talk about that lifestyle because that's a big part of why people take a look at this and gauge whether or not they want to do it, whether or not they want to wake up in a different place every day. My neighbor at the lake where I live, a great truck driver, but he's been all over the U.S. I mean, all over the U.S. and quite frankly, a big part of Canada too. he loves it. He loves it. He's getting to see the world through a windshield. How do we convince other people about the good you can have as a truck driver?
Well, there's really a lot of opportunity right now in the truck driving industry. And, there's a variety of types of jobs that you can work. You can be local, you can be in the oil field, you can be over the road. So depending on what someone is looking for within their career or this lifestyle change, there's a little bit of something for everyone. And, most programs or most degrees that you get take, anywhere between 2 to 4 years. But with truck driving, you can start this new career in as little as 4 weeks and start making a pretty decent salary.
Do you have a waiting list of graduates? Because if I was in need of truckers the way, that many industries out there are, I mean, I'm talking to the Mosbys. I'm sitting there saying, wait a second, you two, you're turning out exactly what I need. Can you give me the list of who was good and who graduated?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been partnering with different companies because of the fact that, drivers are so needed right now, and there's a huge shortage. And starting in February, when the regulations changed to where you actually have to attend an approved school, it's really cutting down on the amount of schools that are available to people who are interested in getting their CDL. So most CDL schools around the country really have a wait list.
Are CDLs universal from state to state? Is that the same license?
Well, depending on what state you live, it can kind of be kind of different. I know with the age requirements, I know some states are trying to get younger drivers in, but you have to be at least 18 in most states to get your CDL, but to cross other state lines, you have to be within 21 years old. So just depending on what state, the regulations are a little different, but pretty much they're universal for the most part. Now, when you're talking about different state laws and stuff like that, like for example, California, you can't even come to California without a newer truck, a 21 or better, you know what I mean, with the DEF system on it. So yes, there are some things different, but pretty much it's universal.
Okay, so the rigs that you get a chance to train them in, is it Peterbilt, is it Mack, or is it a little bit of everything? I mean, you must have a stable of semis there that they can hop in.
Well, right now with Elite Trade Academy, we are planning to raise more funds to get more equipment so we can service more people. So right now what we have Freightliners, pretty well-known truck. And these Freightliners are customized for the students to be able to get trained in properly. But we're open to anything. That's why we're starting our crowdfunding campaign through Elite Trade Academy to be able to grow, to service more people.
So Austin, you said that you've got your CDL, which tells me that before you started the academy, you were out there doing it. You were out there doing the job. Describe to people what a week might have been for you.
Well, I did quite a few things. I worked in the oil field industry, and I did over the road, hauling general freight. For the most part, over the road, every day was hey, I have to be able to get from point A to point B, generally speaking, as safely as possible. So every day I woke up, I made sure that I was incorporating my safety procedures with the pre-trip and end of the day post-trip. But while I was driving every day, I was holding the steering wheel. I was trying to get from point A to point B as safely as possible. Within the oil fields, pretty much the same, but going shorter distances. But either way it go, I took every day as if, okay, I need to get to the most safest destination at the end of the week, which is home. So I try to do everything as safely as possible. That was usually my day.
So when did you know that this was the profession you wanted to do? How old were you when you cranked this up?
21 years old. I knew it was for me when after the first year when I made $80,000, and I take my CDLs within 4 weeks. So I knew it was for me then because the possibilities was just getting started.
Okay. Yeah, that would have got my attention at that age too. I'm not going to lie to you about that. So when did you two know that you were going to do this? I mean, obviously the shortage, I get that, but this is a risk. This is a business startup. If it doesn't work, you're out some cash here. I mean, when did you two know you were going to take the risk of this academy?
Well, we've been growing our trucking company for several years. And this past year, we decided to leave that, that side of the transportation and move into training because, it was great building this company and being able to, provide for our family. But we saw an opportunity to give other people the same opportunity that trucking gave us. And so we wanted to give them the opportunity to have a better career and have a better, just a better life, and show people that no matter where you're at in life, you still have other opportunities. So that's why we decided to start Elite Trade Academy to give individuals the chance to, make a better life for themselves.
So at any given time, how many students do you have? How many people are there trying to get their CDL and learn what you have to offer?
Well, right now, we are planning to have at least about around 40 to 60 students a month is the goal. That's with 13 trucks and trailers. So that is the initial goal, to be able to do that, to service as many people that we can.
That's a lot. That's a bigger number than what I thought you were going to say. I'm not going to lie to you. A month, you can turn out a lot of truckers by the end of the year. In terms of right up here in the upper Midwest right now, we're harvesting. We're harvesting sugar beets, we're harvesting potatoes. And the one thing that every farmer is short of is drivers, is making sure that they get from the field to where it needs to be delivered, either that piler or that warehouse. So my wife, who had some time off, always wanted to do it. It began with just a ride along, but she always just saw it and wanted to do it. She went out to the field with my friend that I grew up with, and he put her in. It was an older rig, and it was something she had to shift rather than some of the semis now. I would call them automatics. But what is that still out there? Do you still see a whole lot of shifting going on?
Yes, definitely. And, one of the big initiatives with Elite Trade Academy is to bring more women into the field. Right now, the average truck driver is a 55-year-old male, and a lot of them have retired or phased out of the industry. And so we want to show women that they do have an opportunity to be successful in trucking and really bring them in to fill this void that's happening in the trucking industry. Because like you said, there's a lot of companies that are needing drivers. That's their number one issue right now is they have the products. We just need drivers to transport them.
Is this expensive, you guys? I mean, does this cost quite a bit to take the class?
Well, depending on what state you're in, the cost is, or state or city, the cost is going to vary, but typically it's anywhere between $4,000 to $7,000 to obtain your CDL. And there are lots of programs with whatever state that you're located in, as well as with companies that will actually pay for your training.
Okay. And I know we have that here as well, is that I don't want to use the word desperate, but we recognize the need. And so whatever can be done to help facilitate that, because, I go back, Austin, you're 21 years old, and just writing a check out for $7,000 wouldn't have been the easiest thing. And so while it would have played into the profession you're making your living, getting some help with that tuition might not be the worst thing that we can do for people. I have to ask you this, the model, what you're doing, is that something that you plan on expanding? Is that something that you could envision taking from state to state and setting up an elite trade academy? Yes,
absolutely. Our plans are to expand into different cities around Texas as well as different states. And we are also, the CDL program is our flagship program, but we do have plans on expanding within the next 2 to 3 years and adding on other trade skills because the need for labored workers are so high right now in America. So we definitely do have plans on expanding.
So Mosby's, I got to ask you, how do people get in touch with you? Because you got their attention. If they want to know more about what you're doing at Elite Trade Academy, how do they reach out?
Well, yes, if you're interested in reaching out to us, you can reach out at elitetradeacademy.com. And if you're interested in being a part and assisting us with this journey, with being an investor, or someone just want to know more information, you can also find more information out on our website to be able to do so. We're doing a lot of giveaways to raise awareness. So if you're just interested, period, you can reach out at our social medias at Austin Carter and DC Nicole. So
Well, I would add this, that what you said earlier in this conversation was spot on, which is it is patriotic. This nation needs it. We desperately need it. We got containers off the ocean that when they come in all at once, we're going to need to move them. So thank you. Thanks for what you're doing, and I appreciate you coming down the road with us.
We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
You bet. Obviously, they know what they're doing, and they're fulfilling the need that this nation has.